Hi everyone, it's Wendy. I'm on to show you how I made the base for this journal, the folio journal that I just made. That's it, that one there. So what you'll need is a manila folder. I've already cut mine in half, but that's what it looks like. Manila folder that I've cut in half, and the height or the length of it will be 6 and 7/8, and that one there is 6 7/8 too. Okay, so I've cut it in half. So what I did next was I opened it up and I joined the two halves together. So I just used a bit of double-sided tape and put that right up along that side there. Alright, so got that there. And then I just joined this one onto here. So that looks about straight. Alright, so you end up with just a great big long piece of manila folder. Alright, and then I'm going to say that would be like the front, like this would be the front here and this would be the back. I actually started from the back to do the scoring, only because the front has a little flap and it doesn't matter what size that little front flap is. So, but I want to get the base width of the journal done properly. Okay, so starting I've got the back here. Alright, so we're going to score at 3 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll put a score line there, and then 3 3/4. So that's given you like a 1/4 of an inch little spine, and then we go over to 8 3/4. So this part here is going to be 5 inches. Okay, so that's going to be the width of our journal. And then I'm going to score it at 9 1/4. And this part here is going to be a spine. What I actually might do, this one here, that's going to be a flap. Whoops. That's going to be a 1/4 inch spine. This one here is going to be a base. So that's a 5 inch base, and this is a 1/2 inch spine. Okay, then when I got that far, I just folded that over just to there, to the last score line that I've done, and put that up to 0 again, because you're not going to score it all in one go. Okay, so when that goes back up to 0 again, we're going to come out and you're going to score at 5 inches. Okay, and then you're going to score it at 10 inches, and then you're going to score at 10 1/2. Okay, so that's 5 inch base. That's going to be a 5 inch base, and then you've got a 1/2 inch spine. Okay, so I'm going to fold it at the last score mark and then put that back up to the nought. up there. Gets a bit hard to to manage because it's so long, but when it folds together it just looks so cool. Okay, and then we're going to do, once we've moved that up to the nought again, we're going to do the same ones again. We're going to come out at 5 inches, then we're going to come out at 10, and then we're going to do 10.5. So that's 5 inches, that's 5 inches, and that's 1/2 inch spine. Okay, and then we're going to fold that last one, the last score mark, and then take it up to the nought, move it up to the nought to start again, and then we're just going to score that at 5. Okay, so that will be 5 inches, and then this part here is going to be actually the front flap. Alright, so we can press that down. We'll just go and do all our score lines now. I'll move this out of the road, I don't need that anymore. So we can just go and do, just burnish all our score lines. Okay, so that's the front, that's the last one we done, so that's our front flap. That one. Need to do this one. I'll try and fold that up as I go. And this one. And the last 2 small ones here. I put 1/4 inch on that last panel just in case I wanted to put something bulky in there, which I ended up doing anyway. Okay, so that's the back where we started to score from the front. So that's the back. That is the first spine for one signature. Then better still, okay, so I'm just going to write the number down. So we've got our front little flap here, okay, so then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we've got our back bigger flap. Alright, so we turn that flap over because that's going to have some pockets coming off it, and then we're going to fold that one over that way, and then number 3 gets folded back, then that comes down onto number 4, then number 5 gets folded back, then that comes down onto number 6, and number 7 gets put into there. So you will end up with something looking like that, and the spine will end up being 1.5 inches roughly. Yep, 1.5 inches, because you've got 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch there. Okay, so that's how easy it was, guys, just to put that together. So what I'd done then, on number 2, on the second bit, on the second 5.5 inch, I cut a little slot down there, so that was going to be a side panel, and number 2 and number 3 will then be glued together. So you will glue just in here and you'll leave a space for where you put your little slot. You could even cut a slot up the top if you wanted a top loading pocket there. Alright, and then number 3 and 4 has got the 1/2 inch spine, and on number 4 I cut another little slot out of there, and then 4 and 5 get glued together. And then you've got 5 and 6, and you've got the spine there, and you've got your little fold out flap there. Okay, so I'm really pleased with how it all came together. Alright, so that's actually how you do the folds for, well, for here. That's what it looks like, doesn't it, when it's finished. The next thing I'd done, I might just keep going and just show you a bit. I'll just bring this up again. The next thing I'd done, with the front little flap here, I just found the centre point, which is 3 3/8, I'd say. Just, that's 3.5. I'll go 3.5. I just put a little score mark on that front flap. Oops, sorry, bang. And I just cut out a little notch out of that there. So that's where one pocket's going to sit on that little flap, and the other pocket's going to sit on that one there. And then I went over and cut, before I glued anything down, I went and cut the notches, the little slot out of here. So what I'll do is just cut that out. Okay, so just make sure that's straight. So from this fold here, between 2 and 3, the second and third panel, I went down about 1/2 inch, just like that, made sure it was straight, and then I cut and then just come down about 1/4 inch and done another cut. Alright, so that gives you, oops, that gives you a little slot for your pocket. Okay, so then you will glue the 3 sides down, the 2 top and this one here that's closest to the spine. Okay, then I done the same with number 4, which actually I'm thinking I might like to actually cover that first. Okay. Alright, so after I've cut the front small flap, I come over to cut the little slots for the side pocket, and they're on 4 and 2. So what I done first, just to make it easier, I covered the panel. So just put some glue on here. It just makes it easier if you cover the base first with whatever paper you're using. I just chose to use some book pages because most of it gets covered up anyway. Okay, so put it on straight. These ones here I had pre-cut from something else, so they're just a little bit shorter down here, but they work out the same. And you only really have to cover just the inside for number 4 and number 2 panel, because the back side gets glued to number 5 and the other one, number 2, gets glued to 3. And then I just used a ruler and grabbed my blade. I should wait for that to dry, but I'll keep going and see how I go. And then I come down about like 1/2 inch from the fold and cut a slot. So I cut that there, and then I brought it down about 1/4 inch and just done another cut. Hope I've gone through both of those. And then just cut the top out up there and cut the bottom, and hopefully that's my little slot. Okay, and because I do like to ink, I just grabbed some ink and just put that on, just on where I'd cut the slot. Okay, so that's number 4, and then number 5 gets folded back on it, so that's going to be my first side pocket in here. Now with my other one, on number 5, where you can see the little gap there with the slot, I just went and just put a bit of ink just to darken it up a bit. Okay, and now I can grab some glue and put it down. I've got too much on my table and it's falling on me. Come on, glue. So I just go up near the spine there and along the top. Just to there. But what I also do, on the top part of your slot, I just put a little bit of glue there too. That just stops that from pulling up when it's folded over. Okay, so now we can just fold that over, make sure it's straight. Okay, that looks pretty good. Not down there, it doesn't, but I will get that straight. Okay. Okay, and under this part here, that's where you'd put the glue, just to hold that top panel down. So it just opens up from the bottom there. So that's really just how simple that was, just to make that big side pocket there. Okay, But it is easier to just put your decorative paper down first, like book page or something like that. And then that is 5 and 6 there. And number 2, because I'd already cut the slot, I'll just show you what I'm going to do. I am going to add just my whole book page here, like I did before, just to cover that. This is if you forget to put your book page down first, you can still do this technique, okay? Just make sure you've got a nice lot of glue on either side of where you've cut your slot, okay? And I'll just grab another paper and we shall put that down, glue that down there. Alright, so I've put the backing, my decorative paper down on that, but because I've already cut the slot, I'm just going to just come over this side and just cut the decorative paper or the textbook paper out again, okay? So we just need to do another little cut there. And another little cut there, and then just up here at the top and at the bottom. Whoops, a bit too hard, Wendy. And that should bring out our little slot there. Okay, so I'm just going to put bit of ink on here. You don't have to ink it. Like I just inked it because I wanted it kind of like a grungy feel. Alright, so number 2, that's panel 2, is going to get glued to number 3 like that. So I will put a bit more ink. Oops, come on, open up. I will put a bit more ink just under here. And this one here I'll put on the back side of number 2. So we want some down the sides. And also the top part of the slot that you cut out. Okay, and then that one will get folded like that. Okay, and we can press that part down because that's the part there that has the glue underneath it. And then you've just glued around the sides. Oh, it's coming together, guys. And you'll see when it's glued. Okay, I've done that a little bit crooked, but that's okay, we can fix that up. That's what it looks like so far. Alright. So then you can go and put your base covers down on the other pages, just to cover it up for a bit. Alright, but that's how easy it was really, guys, to just put that together. Now you just go and cover the rest of your base, okay, which I think I might do anyway because I'm enjoying this. And I just use a bit of glue stick. Pull that down a bit. Okay, so that's 1, 2, number 3. That's 4, number 5. And I've just used up the other base panels that I had previously cut. So then I'd go and put a cover on the flap on both sides, and then one on the back page and also one on the front page. And you'll notice that when you do start to put down a decorative pattern on your manila folder, the pages will start to thicken up, because a manila folder isn't very sturdy to start with. But once you start gluing them down, the pages do end up getting a lot stronger. Okay, this one here is already strong enough because it's been folded, so that's got double the strength there, and that one there. Alright, okay, so I might come back on. That's enough for today. I think I will come back on and do some more decorating and show you how I put in the little pockets and flaps and everything. Okay, and you can also strengthen up your spine as well, just by putting some recycled cardboard on it before you put fabric or another decorative paper on it. Okay, thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I think they just turned out so cool. And this is the journal. Like, you don't actually have to cut one manila folder in half. You could cut it to the height of the journal that you want, but you'd have to use 2 manila folders to get it to that height. I just thought, oh, let's just cut one in half and see how I go with the folds into making a journal cover. And as you can tell, it just turned out so cool. So it's got like little individual compartments for each signature. Just turned out so lovely. Alright, you all have a great day, and I will catch you later. Bye bye guys.